Hey guys, today we will be doing the side plank test with Matt here. The side plank test will assess his core stability and his overall core strength. So to do this, I'll ask Matt to get down on the floor, knees bent at about a 90-degree angle, as such. Knees kind of a little bit more back, and your knees on the ground, and then just raise up, keeping a nice straight posture, nice straight spine down there. He will now, you're good. He will hold that pose for about 30 seconds, and then once he can hold that pose on like both sides for 30 seconds, we'll move to the second phase, and then his arm here will just swing up and then back down, up and then back down. We will do this again for 30 seconds, and if Matt has no real problems with that, we'll move on to the third phase, which is the arms out as well as a flutter kick with his legs. We will do this for about 30 seconds, and this is the final test to measure Matt's overall core stability and core strength. As you can see, Matt did a very good job on the 3 progressions of the side plank test. He passed them all with flying colors, so there's really nothing for me to work on with him and his core stability. However, if Matt could not do step 1 of the side plank progression, I would recommend foam rolling. The lats here, as well as the quadratus lumborum and the external obliques, all the way down, just to loosen up some tightness in his side. Also, one more corrective exercise that I would recommend is a wall plank. So Matt can then just stand up. I'll show you guys here. He will face the wall and lean, slight arch down, and then he'll hold this pose for about 30 seconds. And we will also move on to stage 2 if he passes this test and passes the first step of the side plank progression. Now we will be doing the single leg squat test with Matt here. The single leg squat test will demonstrate the athlete's hip, knee, and ankle flexibility. To do this, I will first tell Matt to take off his shoes, as such. Perfect. He will raise his right or left foot up to be parallel, to form a right angle, and hold this position for 30 seconds and try to maintain his balance as best as possible. I will get all 4 views from straight on. Perfect. Stay there a little bit. All right. Slight pelvis tilt there. Overall though, it's very solid. I would score him a 3 on this. He maintained his balance fairly well, and he can move on to phase 2 of the single leg squat test, which is the actual squat. So Matt will go back into the same spot, and then just bend down and then come up. Bend down and then come up. Up again. Good. Okay. As you can see here, this is a little more difficult, and it really shows off his knee performing a valgus movement inward, as well as his arch collapsing and his hips shifting as he does his squat. I would give him a 1 or 2 here, and then we will perform corrective exercises to fix these imbalances. As we saw from Matt's single leg squat test, he had slight valgus movement of the knees moving inward, and he was also pronating with his foot, which caused him to lose his arch. This is caused by overactive adductors pulling his knees inward as he squats, as well as underactive IT bands and tensor fascia latae. There are a few corrective exercises we can do to counteract these muscle imbalances. The first one is foam rolling. So Matt will now lay down flat on his stomach, stretch one leg outward, and roll from the hip all the way down the femur up to the side of the kneecap, the medial side of the kneecap, and find any hot spots and stick there. Do this for about a minute and then switch legs. The next corrective exercise is called clamshells. Matt will now lay down on his side, put the band around his knees. Good. Knees bent just like the side plank, and he will simply open up his knees and close them. Hold for 2 seconds at the top and then come back down. Hold for 2 seconds at the top and come back down. He will repeat this exercise for about 15 to 20 times, about 2 to 3 reps prior to any athletic exercise or performance. And these will help counteract his muscle imbalances that we found in his single leg squat test. The next test we will now do with Matt here is the shoulder mobility test. This is testing the flexibility of, you guessed it, the shoulder. The first step we will do is to measure Matt's hand from the middle finger to the base of the palm. A ruler is recommended, but since we do not have a ruler with us, we are using a dowel, and we will mark it off with a piece of tape as such. So Matt, measure it down, middle finger, top of the middle finger to the base of the palm, and mark it off with a piece of tape, as such. The next step we will do is Matt will turn towards the camera, put either arm he wants straight back as high as possible, and then the other arm over the head, trying to touch the other arm while making a fist. We will measure the distance between his hands. Right now he's about 3/4 of a hand length apart, which is very good. This is scaled out of 3. 1 is very poor flexibility, 2 is very average flexibility, and 3 is very good flexibility. To get a 1, you will have to have 2 hand widths apart. To get a 2, you will have to get 1.5 hand widths apart, and to get 3, you will have to get 1 to no hand widths apart. So Matt has about 3/4 of a hand width apart, and that's very good. So that will be a 3 for his right arm, and then we will do the same thing with his left arm now, and we will now measure that. That's about 1 hand length apart, which is still very good. So, stability test with Matt here. We saw that his right arm is slightly tighter than his left arm. One reason this could be is because he is a baseball pitcher and he constantly uses his right arm to throw, which is putting lots of strain on his right arm opposed to his left arm. One corrective exercise we can do is foam rolling with a tennis ball. So what Matt will do is put the tennis ball right in the base of the anterior shoulder here, and then just roll it back and forth, finding some hot spots and leaning his body weight against the wall as such. Just rolling out the entire anterior shoulder. to do the posterior shoulder, he does the exact same thing, but he puts the ball at the back of the shoulder, just rolling it out, finding hot spots. Hold there for about a minute to 30 seconds, and then switch arms and do the anterior and the posterior shoulder on both arms to improve his flexibility in his shoulders.